Virtual reality is really cool. Wow, the guy wearing a VR headset thinks VR is cool, who would have guessed? But wait, let me pitch you on it if you haven't tried it yet. I remember my first time ever trying a proper VR. I had tried the headsets where you stick your phone into it, but they don't really track where your position is in space, just where your head's looking, so they weren't that great. It was still cool, I guess, but I wasn't really that into it. Until my local laser tag installed a VR headset into the ceiling, and I wanted to try it. Because why not? And when I put that headset on, I believe it was like a Vive something or other, I decided to do the game you play when you play VR, Beat Saber. Oh my gosh. It was the coolest thing ever. Okay, maybe not like the coolest thing, but it was pretty sweet. When I looked around, I was like in a whole different space. It wasn't like I was just looking at a 2D screen. There was depth. Like the blocks flew at me in 3D space and I sliced them and I felt like a badass. I was instantly hooked and knew that I needed a headset for myself. Headsets were really expensive and the standalone ones didn't exist yet, so I had to wait quite a bit before I got one. My parents got me a PlayStation VR for Christmas, I think. It sucked. I hated it. You had to be connected to the PS4 with a cord. I didn't like the cord. I didn't like the controllers. And it wasn't that great. But my parents were cool enough to where they returned it and got me the Quest 1 instead. And I freaking loved that thing! Sure, the graphics weren't as great, but it felt like I was still in a whole different world. And without the cord was a big plus. I could move my hands. Beat Saber was my favorite VR game. It still is. And I'll probably make a video on it in future. But I also played some other games like the Vader Immortal series that came with the headset. I got traumatized on VR chat, I made friends in Rec Room, good times. Sure, the headset was just a little bit extremely uncomfortable, but you get used to it, and I was able to look past it. Epic Roller Coasters was another one of my favorites, even if it gave me nausea and headaches afterwards. You get used to it, and you don't need to jump right into the extremely intense games when you're first doing VR like I did. My school also had a bunch of Quest 1s and the PC VR Rift S, which gave me a taste of how much better VR was when you hook it up to a computer, even if you have to deal with an annoying cord. Now, I understand why someone might not like the Quest 1. It wasn't comfortable, the resolution wasn't the greatest, it wasn't very powerful, but then Oculus, or now Meta, decided to release the Quest 2! It was a little more affordable than the Quest 1 at around $300 for the lowest storage model. It also was a little more powerful, as well as having a slightly better strap, although mine ended up snapping, so I got this better strap, and I had a lot of fun with it. Eventually I ended up getting a PC, so I was able to hook that up, and it made it so much cooler. Games ran so much better. I was playing Beat Saber with crisp effects that you had to turn off because it obscures your vision, but still, cool. I could also play social games like Rec Room or VR chat without as much frame rate dropping. Don't get me wrong, it definitely dropped at times, but it's something you still get used to and it wasn't as bad as when it was just standalone. Recently ended up getting the Quest 3, and it's pretty cool. I did get a Vive Pro 2, but returned the headset after the realization that the downsides really sucked. Like the lenses weren't always clear. Well, the Quest lenses, you can look at pretty much any angle and they're still pretty clear. And having the ability to just take the headset wherever you want to is also really cool. So, I've tried 7 or 8, not sure, purchased 6, kept 4, and extensively used 3 VR headsets. So what's the deal? Why am I so obsessed? VR just feels so immersive when you play. It's not like a computer screen when you just look at a flat screen. Headset has depth, like I said, and you can look all around when you see something. Like right now, I'm using pass-through so I can just see my room, but pretend I'm in some cool area. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in space. I can make myself go in space. You can go wherever you want in VR. That's the cool thing. The first time experience of like seeing stuff in 3D is super cool. And the novelty has worn off a bit now that I've played it so much, but I still enjoy being in a whole different world. With things like roller coaster games or videos, it looks like I was really flying around, which is extremely disorienting at first, but if you like it as much as I did, you get used to it and not sick when you move in VR while not in real life. Or when a glitch happens and tracking stops or something. And speaking of glitches, my camera just crashed for no reason. So that's wonderful. I did a lot of recording, now it's all for nothing. The VR experiences you can play are also really cool. Beat Saber, oh my gosh, I love Beat Saber. It's just stupid fun to slice blocks that fly at you. Chop Simulator, another classic, is a really good example of what a VR game should be like. So many little things are interactable that you can mess around with. The social games are also cool, sometimes. Rec Room, basically like a VR Roblox, is really cool because I can visit different games made by other people with friends. Making friends can be a pretty big positive too. The downside being there's a lot of weirdo creeps or stupid kids, so you kind of just have to know where to look. But isn't it like that with any social media? And also, we have the power of blocking people! VR chat is fun only if you have a private group of friends or people to play with. Public quotes make you want to kill yourself, don't play them. VR is kind of an unnecessary unconventionality, some might even say a gimmick. But it's a neat gimmick! It's not great yet, but there are programs out there that let you do stuff like see your computer screen and watch videos in VR. You can make the screen as small or as big as you want to! Fun fact, I'm actually looking at my computer screen through my VR set that has my script. so I can pretend like I know what I'm talking about when I really had to plan it out. Virtual reality does have some significant downsides though. The cost of high-end runs are usually really high, the tracking isn't always perfect, other people in VR can be stupid, wearing a headset for more than 30 minutes can be uncomfortable unless you have a really pricey strap. Oh gosh, the list just keeps going on, doesn't it? Okay, VR is not for everyone, but it is for me, and I think it's cool, and I think you could find it cool too. Okay, you know what would really be cool? VR escape rooms. I don't know why, but there was a huge lack of escape rooms in VR. They'd be so cool. You can make stuff happen that can't happen in real life. You can do it with friends in completely different real life locations. Why isn't this a thing yet? I'm really excited for the future of VR. Hopefully we'll get more cool games, cool experiences, and cool escape rooms, please. Thanks for letting me yap about something I think is cool. You watched the whole thing, so that's pretty neat. I appreciate that. Oh, see you in the next another thing I love, where I yap about this Pokemon I really like for some reason. See ya! I don't know if see ya's good enough. It's not... Later, skaters! We'll figure something out. Hey there! I don't know how to... I kind of like saying it. I'm gonna mess up so many times. This is gonna suck. Should probably do this for organization's sake. Video 3! I need to scroll now. And this is the part where I switch headsets. Let's go. Good take.